Hello YouTube world, my name is Nicholas Montez, and you're watching my YouTube channel, The Teenage Movie Critic. Welcome back to another YouTube channel, everybody. I'm so excited to have you all back here again, and if you're wondering, yes, my dad redid my whole room a little bit. I'm gonna give you like a little bit of a 360 here, or something like that. That's my bed's over there now, so yeah, that's pretty much what my room looks like. There's some things I wish I could show, like that Spider-Man poster over there, or even this awesome Avengers poster, which technically was the other Avengers poster on the back, but it has two posters, but it's whatever. But anyways, today we're going to be doing a ranking. This past Tuesday, James Gunn announced his new slate for the DCU, that since, if you don't know, he's taking over the DCEU. So that means So he basically kind of talked about his 10 first projects of Chapter 1 of Gods and Monsters. And he also announced that projects like Batman, Teen Titans Go, Joker, all those other movies are part of the DC Elseworlds. And basically, the next 4 DCEU films are coming out this year, which are Shazam 2, The Flash, Blue Beetle, and Aquaman 2. Those are basically like the last 4 DCEU films. And he also announced that The Flash is going to reboot everything. Well, almost everything, because there are going to be some returning characters in these projects. But with that said, we're just going to go ahead and dive into this and leave your ranking down below of what projects you're excited for. And let's just go ahead and get started talking about this. Okay, so I kind of think about it, and out of all the projects, I wouldn't really say there's a certain project where I'm just not excited for. I'm pretty much excited for all of these, but with this certain one, it just comes down below because there's just not much to really be excited for. Of course, when they announced that they're making a Swamp Thing movie, I was like, okay, well, cool, whatever. But then they announced that James Mangold and Guillermo del Toro are in line to direct this film. And I mean, and if you don't know who James Mangold is, he's the guy that directed Logan from 2017, that third Wolverine film, and that was great. And it kind of had some horror elements with the killing and violence and stuff. So if he decides to go ahead and do this, I wouldn't be mad, because I like the idea of that. But even then, I think I wasn't really going to be interested into this project unless I saw Werewolf by Night about a couple months back, 4 months ago on Disney Plus, where we saw the Marvel version of this character, Man-Thing. I don't know exactly who came first. If you know, comment down below in the comments. But I actually liked the Man-Thing character. He seems pretty cool. And so I guess you could say Swamp Thing is basically just Man-Thing, except the DC version of Man-Thing. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it's good. But at the same time, I am a little bit nervous because it just feels like a Man-Thing ripoff. Unless Swamp Thing came first. Alright, so for me, I have never really been the biggest fan of the Supergirl character. I just feel like ever since we've gotten all these girl versions of superheroes, like Marvel's gotten a lot of that in its phase 4 with Kate Bishop being the girl version of Hawkeye. We're getting Riri Williams Ironheart with the girl version of Iron Man. We got Shuri's Black Panther, which that's an understatement because I understand that. We got a girl version of Thor, a girl She-Hulk, another girl version of Black Widow, and now we're getting the girl version of Supergirl, and I just don't understand it. I forgot how Superman and Supergirl are related. So comment down below. Is Supergirl the cousin? I forgot. I'm so sorry. And I even remember, like, I knew the knowledge of it, but I so totally forgot. But the thing that interests me about this movie, and that's the thing, there's a lot of these projects where it's like, I'm so excited for, but it's like, that's kind of the problem. It's like, a lot of these projects sound interesting, and they're hard to rank. But so, this movie is basically based off of a comic book run that came out last year. And it's basically like, it's basically being a different comparison to what Superman is, and basically being a story that's like, where he had good parents and all that, and basically a good life growing up. This version of Supergirl is not that, and she actually had a troubled childhood, and she's just going out for vengeance. And that actually sounds interesting to me. So when this movie comes out, I'm excited to see it. And the story sounds pretty cool to me. Now, I've never exactly known anything about the Green Lantern characters. To me, they're just characters that I just don't understand. You have these Green Lantern rings, and you get to make weapons with them and fight, and be on this, like, green planet with all these people that have green suits and everything. I just don't understand the whole world of Green Lantern. But the way James Gunn described this series is, he described it as like a detective series and stuff like that, and you're bringing in both of Hal Jordan and Jordan Stewart, or whatever I believe that's what the Black Green Lantern his name is. But the fact that you're bringing both the Black and White Green Lanterns together, that's actually really cool, because everybody always has different interpretations of those two characters. So I'm excited to see that. But the fact that it's going to be a detective story sounds interesting to me. And I mean, there's not a lot of interesting stuff to talk about with this film, so I feel like this should have been my least anticipated one. But, it's my list, so I don't care. Now, I don't actually know anything about the Authority characters. All I know is that it's... but the thing with the way James Gunn described this is, it's basically this group of superheroes that are tired of the world of what's doing bad, and they want to do the best they can to help the world possible. And I think that's actually an interesting story, because it's like, isn't that kind of what all superheroes do? They try to do the best they can to save the world, but this is a team that just wants to protect the world. And a lot of people, I see a lot of Eternals comparisons with this team, but it's like Eternals barely got involved. They only were there to stop deviants. Nothing of Thanos, none of the World War IIs, nothing of that. But this, they're here to stop everything that's going on. So to me, that's kind of interesting. And then also, you know, that's kind of the fun about James Gunn's movies, is that about the James Gunn's superhero productions, is that when he did the Suicide Squad and the Guardians of the Galaxy, he introduced us to characters that we had no idea who they were, and they became just household names. Peacemaker, we didn't know who he is, and now he literally has a TV show and plus a season 2 coming out. We didn't know who Polka Dot Man was, who just sounded like a dumb character, or Ratcatcher 2, or King Shark. We didn't know who any of these characters were, and they're most beloved. We didn't know who Rocket Raccoon or Groot were, of this talking tree and this talking raccoon, and they just became these household names of the Marvel family. And so, that's the unique thing about some of these projects, is that they're characters that we don't know who they are, but that's the unique thing. Looking back at his other projects, it could be just like that, except probably have a different tone and story. But I'm pretty excited for The Authority. Now, this to me, I actually have an interesting aspect of this film, this is a show, because I just think that the whole creature, this is basically like Suicide Squad as a TV show, except you're also bringing in Weasel back, which we last saw in the Suicide Squad and we thought he was the first one to die, which was kind of my biggest complaints about that film, is that you wasted a character who said that he has killed 27 children, and he's the first one to die, but then he just comes back in out of the water as after he drowned, and then he just runs in the woods, and then he probably meets with the creature commandos. So this series, once again, much like The Authority, this series just reminds me of characters that we don't know who they are, but they're gonna be fun characters and memorable characters moving forward. So I'm excited to see Creature Commandos. Now, Booster Gold is another character that I just have no idea who this guy is. So, but the way James Gunn described it, he described it as like this guy from the future, and he's traveling to the future. Well, he has like this like futuristic technology, and he's going to the future and becoming like this great superhero and be loving again, and having this like sort of like condition. I forgot what it's called, but whatever that is, that sounds interesting. And honestly, that sounds a little bit like Peacemaker-y, except more realistic. And I even heard that they're looking for someone to cast as this. And if they actually do what they did with Peacemaker and basically make it like a little bit violent, like rated R action, I would love to see that. So I'm excited for Booster Gold. Now, this was a series that actually was really interesting that they decided that they're gonna do this, and basically making a show about the world of Themyscira, Wonder Woman's homeworld. And to me, they also made a lot of like Game of Thrones comparisons, which I'm like, that sounds awesome. That you're getting this world of Themyscira that we've barely seen, where we just know as it's just a land full of women warriors. Kind of like with the Valkyrie from Thor Ragnarok. We just get this whole world of people, and who's going to get that crown to rule Themyscira, and like the origins of all these characters, and before Wonder Woman was born. To me, that sounds very interesting, and honestly, I cannot wait to see it. And I'm hoping that the action is also good, much like Game of Thrones, and there's a lot of wars and stuff. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why are they going to do an Amanda Waller series when they just announced that The Flash is going to be rebooting everything? Well, they didn't say it's going to reboot everything. They're going to reboot mostly everything. And so, when you think of that, it's like, it's cool, but I'm honestly really excited to see this because I like the Amanda Waller character. I like Viola Davis as this version of the character. And then also, I'm excited to explore her history and stuff. But then they also said that it's going to be having the characters of Team Peacemaker, and it's going to be taking place between the events of Peacemaker season 1 and 2. So that's going to be interesting. So overall, I really cannot wait to see Viola Davis as this character again and see her in great fashion. Now, obviously, I was kind of butthurt that we're not going to be getting any new Batman stuff with Ben Affleck's Batman. Of course, I actually like that Batman character and I wanted to see him. But when you're rebooting a whole DC universe, you have to start fresh with introducing a new Batman. And not only that, but you're also introducing Damian Wayne. Damian Wayne's Robin. And to me, that just sounds great. I do think it's a little weird to just start off right with just introducing Damian Wayne, because it's like we're so used to seeing the origin story with Batman, because we already know how it goes. His parents got killed in an alleyway, and so he gets trained to become this assassin and become the resemblance of Fear in the city of Gotham. So, but the fact that you're doing this like father-son storyline, and the fact that you actually had a younger Batman to have this son of Damian Wayne, that sounds awesome. And the fact that it's going to be introducing the Bat family of the DCU. That's going to be very interesting. And I've heard a lot of people say about some people that could play Damian Wayne. We'll have to wait and see if it fits. And also, who's going to be playing our new Batman? I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, of course, like most of you, I was so butthurt when they announced that Henry Cavill is no longer coming back as Superman, when he literally came back in the end credits scene of Black Adam, and then they announced that they're going to do Man of Steel 2, but then 2 months later, they announced that he's not coming back as Superman. And that's just saddening. That's sad. But, hey, much like I said with Batman, if you're restarting a DC universe, you can't really do a younger version of Superman with Henry Cavill, as he's a lot older now. He has kids, so you gotta start fresh. And I think that the title sounds really cool. And honestly, I think this is the only project that actually has a release date, which is coming out in July 11th, 2025. And honestly, I'm so pumped for that. The fact that it's telling a much more traditional Superman story, or getting a younger Superman story, where it's not really going to be dark like Zack Snyder's Man of Steel. It's going to be a much more bright and hopeful Superman film. So I cannot wait to see that. I'm wondering whoever they choose to play Superman will be good. And even then, you might think, well, if James Gunn is writing this film, I don't really think that fits, because if you've seen the Guardians of the Galaxy and the Suicide Squad, he fits more of those types of films, not really the very serious films, the thematical superhero films. I don't think he would fit this movie, but we'll have to wait and see. And he even said that he was having a good time doing it, so let's just go hope and see what he's doing. Alright, so that is my ranking of all 10 upcoming DCU Slate films for James Gunn. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All my social media stuff is in the back section over there. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.